Blog Talk Radio.
First World Order Radio, finally, we are on the air, no doubt. All right.
There's always going to be somebody in the building on First World Order Radio.
We going into some of that order consciousness tonight.
First World Order Radio every Wednesday, 8 p.m.
We got to talk about what is taking place on the planet.
There's always gonna be somebody in the building on First World Order Radio. First, we need to let you know we're gonna be doing more shows, giving out more information on Wednesdays. Wednesday at 8 o'clock, we are now gonna make this the hottest day of the week.
Proceeding levels in time, order, importance. The most prominent parts, voices, or instruments. Earth's state of human concerns in existence, and indefinite multitude, quantity, or distance. System regulates to bring about specifics in the root based on value and natural characteristics. Current radiates electromagnetistics of sound through the same that your thoughts transmits it. Proceeding levels in time, order, importance. The most prominent parts, voices, or instruments. Earth's state of human concerns in existence, and indefinite multitude, quantity, or distance. System regulates to bring about specifics in the root based on value and natural characteristics. Current radiates electromagnetistics of sound through the same that your thoughts transmits it.
You need to understand how magical this something like this every Wednesday can become. So you need to start getting your calendar right, get your schedule right. You need to know our intention straight out.
Alright, so, these clues are given throughout the various languages was to piece the puzzle of this ancient mystery school back together again.
And what we plan on doing, both of us, is bringing y'all some surefire dynamite. We're going to take this level up a notch. We're going to have stuff to do here. This is not just going to be about philosophies and theories, shit that works.
You have activated pineal gland in which I produced this black chemical called melanin.
What we did was gave a hard line in the sand between the different definitions of esoteric study and exoteric study. Playtime is over.
Peace. Back once again with Dr. Alim Bey, your host for First Order Radio. We're going to go to the lines in order to bring on my co-host, Brother Fahim. You here, brother?
I tell you, Washington East.
Yeah, I tell you, Washington East. How you doing tonight?
All right. How's everybody?
Great. Doing good.
All right.
Doing good. Getting it in. All right, we're going to go into the show for tonight. For those who got a chance to check it out, it's property can't own property. One cannot own property. I have to say that because there's a misconception running around that the UCC can save you. All right, only thing the UCC can do is protect your property and your assets. That's it. All right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't change your status as far as you declaring yourself to be in full life, which means with a nationality. But that's the problem that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Most people do not have a nationality. The majority of people do not have a nationality based on Article 1, Section 2 of the Constitution for the United States of America. It classifies our people as 3/5 person, hence property. And 3/5 person is also defined essentially as being a monster, a subhuman, or Jewish slang called a GOYIM, which means cattle. Cattle is the English version of the French word chattel. All right, and chattel property, there is chattel paper, and the chattel we all have been given at the time of our birth is our birth certificate. Okay, nationality is the only remedy for the American people, and I mean American people in the sense of the Webster's Universal Dictionary 1937 edition, which defines an American as an aboriginal or one of the various copper-colored natives found on the American continent by the descendants of the European settlers or immigrants or invaders. The following is the original application of the word or name Meru. Hence you get the term, or the root of the word America is from Meru, in which there we get the word more or more from. All right? So, Nationality is the only remedy for us. Nationality, when you do your nationality, you have a live claim birth bond attached to your nationality. Because you have self-determination, you have a sense, you have now a way of defining who you are.
Right.
Okay. Indigenous people are the natural people on the planet Earth. When you look up the Inter-American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, and you look up the definition of indigenous people, it says in this declaration, indigenous people embody historical continuity with societies which existed prior to the conquest and settlement of their territory by the European. The European is not indigenous, nor is the European American. The United States is of America. America is not of the United States. America has the superior position. So until you put yourself back into that superior position, then you accept the privileges and benefits of a state's citizen, lowercase c.
Yes.
All right? It also says, as well as people brought involuntarily to the New World who freed themselves and reattach or reestablish the culture from which they've been torn. So this correlates to those who say that they came from the Olmec civilization, which dates back 5,000 years ago here in the Americas, or the 75,000 year ago Folsom society out in Arizona, Nevada area territory, as it is now named, or even further to the Washita over 100,000 years, or further back to the Twa, going back to 2 million years ago in the Western Hemisphere. Or if you read the book Forbidden Archaeology by Michael Creedmoor, he speaks about the fact in Dorchester, Massachusetts, there was humanoids dating back to 600 million years ago. So whichever you attach yourself back to, your lineage, your history, your culture, that is further back than the 400 years ago of the so-called enslavement of the POWs, or the prisoners of war, as we refer to them as. But listen to that alternative to the one, which is the second. It says, as well as those people brought voluntarily to the New World who freed themselves and reestablished the culture from which they've been torn. That is specifically referring to the later Africans. Remember, the Olmecs were Africans also. There was the Mandinga people coming from out of Mali. They was related to the Dogon. The Dogon was the high priest of astrology and astronomy out of ancient Kemet, or Tamaray or Tamari, which we now refer to as Egypt. One and the same people. This is why you see the sheep people, known as the Olmecs, was also the mound builders. They was the pyramid builders. They had that same technology and information. So you see them going to Xi'an, which is within the heart of China, and you will see the pyramids there. You come into the Americas, you see the pyramids and the mounds from Peru to Alaska. Okay? This is what is going on. So nationality helps you tie yourself back to this indigenous culture here in the Western Hemisphere. Right? The UCC cannot do that for you.
No.
All right? And this is what the Moors is talking about, that you following the sovereign way, or the so-called sovereign citizen way of doing things. All right? Not saying that you can't use it, but you have to use it without having a birth certificate attached to it, because you're talking about contract law now. So property can't own property. That means as long as you have not identified yourself other than property, then you're still property. If you never put anything in on the records that counteracts or neutralize the fraud on which that was set up by the so-called establishment to place you under artificial person status, which is a corporation, then you are what is called civilis mortuus, dead in the eyes of the law. Until you do so, they can adjudicate at any proceeding that, or any courtroom that you walk into, because you have nothing on the record to state otherwise. when you do your nationality, it's real simple. You send a copy of your nationality along with what is known as your notice of restricted appearance or notice of special appearance. We use restricted appearance nowadays instead of special, even though it can still work. But you send it into the court certified mail, or either you take it down to the criminal division of the court and you put that notice into your records so that the DA, who's posing as, who's a lawyer or an attorney, who did the turn over you and your property and your assets.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What they would do is state that they have jurisdiction. Of course, they have jurisdiction over their property. However, if you state that you're not their property and you do not consent to the proceeding, that there's an X relationship, or that you're the executor of the estate, or you can use the language known as the UCC, in which that you are the secure party creditor of the debtor. That is showing a distinction in that you're outside of the jurisdiction. Because in court, you have to prove two things. At least the court does. The court has to prove that they have personam, which means person, jurisdiction. Also, what is known as subject matter, jurisdiction. If the court can't prove either, then the case is supposed to be dismissed. So, what strengthened that is the fact that the 14th Amendment was never fully ratified, in which that you can state the historical points behind that when they ask you, do you understand the charge of being brought up against you? Emphatically, no, I do not. Because I'm not a 14th Amendment citizen, because it was never fully ratified. And based on the Dred Scott case decision, Judge Taney stated that I'm not a U.S. citizen, nor will I ever be. Now, every attorney in there, or esquire, judge, if he went to law school, would tell you that they was taught the Dred Scott case decision. So they know exactly what you're talking about. And being that it was never repealed, and being that it was never changed, it still make it valid today. That is your judicial argument. That is your argument. All right? So your nationality states specifically that you are indigenous, and your restricted appearance states that you are there in the court under threat, duress, and coercion. If you cannot go to court, then guess what? They will issue a warrant for your arrest. Normally that happens around Friday between 1 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You will hear the bailiff, who's the sheriff, saying, "Heary, heary, heary. Albert Johnson did not come to court, and therefore we are issuing a warrant for his arrest." Oh, shit. So you now have a failure to appear and a warrant to issue now for your arrest because you've been listening to some dumbass Moors talking about don't go to court.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't tell you that the key to it is that you can send information prior to going to court to the judge's chambers, to the judge in which that probably would be over the proceedings of that case or that matter, or to the lead or head judge who get actually voted in. And you can say CC to the presiding judge of that matter or of that case. They're not telling people this. They're just telling people don't go to court. And of course, you have to wait in order to get a response back from the judge, especially if you fax it into the judge's chamber or if you send it certified mail into the judge's chamber. However you do it, you have to do it that way. If not, then you won't have problems. Okay? Do not go in being belligerent. You can still speak your mind without having to get an attitude. It works better for you in that way, actually, so that you won't get held in contempt. Because normally in contempt, you'll get 3 days in jail just to cool off. $72 hours. That's 3 days of lending. That means they still doing something with that bond in which that they claim that you violated or that statute that you broke. Matter of fact, that statute is a bond. And they're saying that you broke it. Okay, that's what's going on. It's the game in which that they playing. But once again, that's under the artificial person in which that they created, which is your name spelled in all caps on the birth certificate. Okay? Once again, you must have something in there in which that states otherwise. That you're not that name in all caps. You're not the artificial person, but you have identified yourself to be a natural person, which is indigenous. Look up the word indigenous, Black Star Dictionary, 7th edition. It specifically states natural person, and then the next word after that is indigenous. Now, many of y'all don't like President Barack Obama, but go back to his record and see what he did. December the 16th, 2010, he signed on to the Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People. Now, if you go to Article 6 of the Constitution, treaties are the supreme law of the land. Well, guess what? He signed on to that treaty. The United States signed on to that treaty, meaning that he was giving you another loophole to utilize in order to come from up under their jurisdiction instead of all that goddamn marching in the streets. Many people say that you're not supposed to use paperwork, that you don't have to be nationalized on paper. Well, goddamn it, they put a birth certificate on you, and that's on paper.
Sure
Go
did.
to the birth certificate place known as the county records, which is called the Register of Deeds, and see if you don't have to pay for that record on paper. Paperwork.
That's right.
All right. Just to get a copy now is over $15. Okay, just get a copy. All right. So don't think some paperwork to tell your ass. Look at your credit history. If you don't believe me that they are using paper to watch you, look at all the receipts you get back from all the stores that you go to. Paper trail.
That's right.
This is what is going on. So everybody else is tracking you via paperwork, and you're not supposed to put in any paperwork in order to solidify your position. See, that's because dumbasses don't know the 10 maxims of law for affidavit. For the truth to be expressed, it must be in a form of an. Once again, dumbasses. I'm sorry to be like this tonight because I'm sick and tired of the nonsense coming from these individuals, man.
Mm-hmm.
They lying to the people and not teaching the people correctly. The 10 maxims of law state specifically that for truth to be expressed, it must be in the form of an affidavit. So guess what? If you don't write an affidavit, you have no truth. Once again, paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you what, y'all better stop listening to these jackasses, yo, and wondering why y'all getting hemmed up like y'all are. These individuals don't know what they're talking about because they haven't done enough study.
Right.
Only thing they can do is parrot. Too much parroting going on. Too much parroting going on. This isn't about quoting just Property-Dr.Alim from 100 years ago. This is about now understanding and comprehending what's going on in this day and time and how you maneuver and cause there's loopholes in which that is being open for you so that you can actually come into your own. That's what's going on. All right? Some of y'all, it's hard to believe that we are the first people here. Well, if you get the book, they never told you what they never told you in history class by Indo-Kemet Kush. He states the first Americans were black. In the ancient Egyptian and Chinese in America, R.A. Gerasibid, he states the blacks began his career in America not as slaves but as masters. Another book, History of the African Olmecs. Not a single European nation, tribe, or kingdom is responsible for the presence of blacks in the Americas.
That's right.
All right? Another one, you go to Sousa, Economics, the History of Pan-American Trade, Commerce, and Wealth. These blacks found in the Americas. All right? First book, library, states the mound builders. They are dark-skinned, woolly-haired blacks who were aboriginal and indigenous to North America and kin to the Olmecs of South America. The Olmecs and the Washita, the Black Californians, Yamassees, the California, and other pre-Columbian blacks of the Americas was part of a prehistoric trade network that began in Africa and spread it worldwide over 100,000 years ago at the various points afterwards, or periods afterwards. All right? This is scholarship. We telling you exactly where the books that we're getting this information from. Reading you the quotes. Black Civilization of Ancient America by Paul Barton. He says, in retrospect, ancient Africans did visit Americas from as early as 100,000 BC, where they stayed for tens of thousands of years. Later journeys occurred by land sometime between 75,000 BC, according to the Godwin thesis, written by C.S. Gladwin. This migration occurred on the Pacific side of the Americas and was began by Africans with the affinity similar to the people of the New Guinea, Tasmanian, Solomon Islands, and Australians. In other words, they were Aborigines. The earliest migration of Africans, from Asia then to the Americas seems to have occurred exactly during the period that the Australian Aborigines and the Proto-African ancestors of the Aborigines said Oceanic Negroes and other blacks spread it through the East Asia and the Pacific Islands about 100,000 years ago. From that region of Africa as well as East Africa, right, who diffused of blacks towards the Americas as early as 30,000 BC, are believed to have occurred based on findings in the region from now known or called Mexico to Brazil. And they were said to be of the Negritic type. Right? You get also another book called African Presence in Early Asia by Ivan von Saitama and Runoko Rashidi. They say the exact same thing. Right? There's history that is not being taught.
No.
All right? You get another book. This is by David Childress. I have his book in my library on the shelf right now, and it says The Mysteries of the Olmecs. The Olmecs are known to have occupied Tabasco, La Venta, Veracruz, Mexico, etc., or at least influenced large areas of lower Central America from Guatemala to El Salvador to Nicaragua to Costa Rica and probably beyond. All right, Africans' presence in early America, Ivan von Sertima book. African presence in early Asia, another one, and they came before Columbus, another one by Ivan von Sertima.
Mm-hmm.
Another European, Zacharias Sitchin, in his book, The Lost Realms, book 4 of the Earth Chronicles, he states that the Olmecs, all right, themselves posed many puzzles where they appear to have been black Africans, and they too, all right, and he said crossing, did a transatlantic crossing millenniums ago. Of all the lost civilizations of Mesoamerica, that the Olmecs is the oldest and the most mystifying. It was by all accounts that the mother civilization copied, and so it was the mother civilization. And guess what? When we went to Mexico over 8 years ago, my wife and I, the tour guide said when we was at the pyramids, he was talking about the Mayan. My wife said, "Well, what about the Olmecs?" He said, "Well, the Olmecs are the mothers of civilization, but we don't know too much about them." Next question. All right. However, nearly 2 years ago when we went, we had a tour guide who just came straight out and said, "Yo, these was African. It was Nubian, Egyptian, Egyptos people who built these pyramids in the Western Hemisphere, or the Olmecs, or the She people." And he was Mayan. And he said he had to tell the truth because something happened 4 years prior to that, in which that caused him to have to tell the truth about that. All right? National Geographic's on the people of the Americas states that the very first people of Negroid African race arrived in the Americas over 30,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's National Geographic. So, see, you have it in black and white, as Dr. Khaled used to say. Okay? So, understand what is taking place. This is now the time in which that you have access to information in which that was never readily available. You had to have read hundreds and thousands of books just to get an inkling of this information in which that we are putting out nowadays, in which that is able to be just written up and be put, right at your hand, right at your fingertips. All right, Professor Constantine Rafinik is called The Primitive Black Nations of the Americas. It was written in 1832. The description of indigenous Negroes known to Rafinik. He says, to many, this fact of old black nations in America will be new, yet it is an important feature of American history. I will here merely enumerate the black tribes of which I have found evidence, traces, and remains in North and South America. The Auroras, or Korora, of the Kamani were black, but with fine features and long hair, like the Joflof of the Galas of Africa. The Staro, latitude 32, or like the Hottentots and the Nominu and the Tobuk, and many other Negriti tribes. All right? Black, not necessarily just black, he says, but dark brown, yet complete Negroes with thick lips, broad, flat nose, and hair crisp and curly. as these tribes live in New California. He goes further. He says the American Negroes of Karinka, or Kua, or Karinkuga, in Choco, the Andes of the South Americas from the mountains to Panama, were black and with woolly hair. In 1506, they were mentioned by Declaria and all to the early accurate writers. The Yamasee were remarkably black people. Notice of Florida in the campaign. The ancient Koroku of Haiti represents a nation of these historical black race. The Californians of the Carib Islands, or the Black Caribs, or Cuyuni by others, were black. Okay? So he goes on and on and on and speaks about all these black and so-called dark brown people that was here prior to the European invasion. He says the black Indians met by the Spaniards in Louisiana in 1543. Okay? That goes back to the Empress, Tierra Washita. She reports that the Lewis and Clark so-called expedition stated that a bushy-headed tribe who did not like the red man or the white man. It was called the bushy-headed Washitors. Okay. John Sibley reports in the Lewis and Clark document that the Choctaw, that there was rambling hunting parties of them to be met with all over Louisiana. They was at war and like neither the red or the white people. This is April the 5th, 1805. That's where that statement came from. But there's another statement from General Thomas Jessup. He said, "This is this you may be assured he said, this you may be assured is a Negro, not a Indian war. As if it be not speedily put down, the South will feel the effects of this slave population before the end of the next season." All right. He also goes further and says, June 1837, in the American State Papers, Military Affairs, cited by Kenny W. Porter, the Negroes on the American frontier. Right? If the war be carried on, it was necessarily be one of extermination. We have in no former period in our history had to contend with such a formidable enemy. No Seminoles proved false to this country, nor has a single instance ever occurred of a first-rate warrior having surrendered. Throughout my operations, I have found the Negroes the most active and determined warriors. And during the conference with the Indian chiefs, I asserted they exercised an almost control over them. In other words, the Negroes ruled the Indians. So where does this come from that the Indians had us as slaves? When this is reported in Major General Jessup in his American State Papers, Military Affairs now, cited by Kenneth Porter, that the Negroes ruled the Indians. All right. In a book called The Black West by William Katz, he says the explosion killed almost all of his blacks and red Indians and 200 women and children. He goes further, says that in General Duncan's report, Fort Negro, 1816, in the evening of distribution of the chief went into the fort and demanded his surrender, but they were abused and treated with the utmost contempt. The black chief the black chief heaped much abuse on the Americans and said that he had been left in command of the fort by the British government, and that he would sink any U.S. vessel that should attempt to pass it and would blow up the fort if he could not defend it. The chief also informed me that the Negroes had a red flag and the English Jack was flying over it. So they had to battle the so-called U.S. because we know that we were the only Americans. Right? Another one in Ancient American Magazine, issue 17. Evidence for black-skinned natives in the Americas long before the arrival of Columbus is abundant. For the distinctly Negro features of the Colossus Olmec statue, sculptured heads, and a pre-Aztec obsidian bowl being upheld by a figure with unmistakable black characteristics, to the bones of the Negro persons excavated from a 2,000-year-old mound in northern Wisconsin, a wealth of material exists to establish the certainty of non-white, non-Indian population living in pre-Columbian America along with these other groups. There's so many mounds that have been deliberately destroyed, over 200,000 ancient pyramids and huge mounds on the earth in the shape of cones, animals, and geometrical design can still be found from the southern coast of South Central and North America to Canada. These structures was built by so-called obscure people largely known as the mound builders. And who he said the mound builders were? Pre-Columbian blacks. All right, so all this is historical, but it's not history in which that is being taught in school. All right, so you want to know why should you declare your nationality? God damn, I just gave you probably 50 reasons. Still have people call me, what's the benefit of declaring your nationality? I don't know. You find out.
Right.
That's like a goddamn Mexican accent. Well, what's the benefit of being a Mexican? Or a damn Chinese, or a Chinese saying, what's the benefit of being a Chinese? So, don't come to me with that bullshit. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right. Let's continue on. Most Americans were black. This is by PhD David Imhotep. He says during the pre-dynastic or pre-classical period, built pyramids over the older pyramids to disguise the Olmec's origin of the pyramids. It was the Mandingo, all right, the Mandingo people were the Olmecs who built the pyramid buildings, religious technology, and writings to the Mayans from Africa. The Mayans looked upon the Olmecs as gods. For example, several Mayan gods were actually Negroes or Negroids and characterized as having very dark skin. In another book, American First Civilization by historian M.D. Cole, the Olmec's influence is key to the study of the pyramids in Mesoamerica. It is generally accepted that all later civilizations in Mesoamerica ultimately rest on the Olmec base. Cole goes further and say that the Olmecs not only influenced the Mayans, but they were early Mayans. All right? Scholarly Latin author C.C. McQueen explains the strong possibility that black people were the first people in the Americas out of which later came the red race. It is likely that we repeat a long ago useful America was also a Negro continent. This is what he said. Right? Another article called Ancient Men and His First Civilization is when they the Olmecs arrived is not known, but a guess of 8,000 to 4,000 BC should do. The Olmec culture is thought to have ended around 400 BC. These Olmecs inhabited southern Mexico and regarded as the mother culture of the Americas. That is to say, the later Amerindian cultures such as the Mayan, Inca, Toltec, and etc., and technologies of the Americas descended from the Olmecs. All right, culture and technology. Another one, American Holocaust, Columbus and the conquest of the New World. This is written by David Stansner. He says, America, the oldest civilization known in the Americas was the Olmecs, and it was the black Africoid origin and flourished over a 5,000-year period. This civilization existed in the Americas before the arrival of the Red Indians. In fact, at the time of the Europeans' arrival in Central and South America in the 15th century, descendants of black Olmecs was abound throughout the region, particularly in Mexico. I don't know, brother. You think they're getting the point now?
I hope they are.
On the reason why you play your nationality?
For their sake, I hope they are.
Right, here's another one. According to John Henry Clark, the African Christopher Columbus and the myth of the New World. He says, it must also be added that Americo Vespucci on his voyage to the Americas witnessed the Mandinga of Mali and the Songhai empires, later an empire, out in the Atlantic returning to Africa. Now, this is John Henry Clark saying that. And he says that the Malian Songhai Empire was later identified as the Moroccan Empire, one and the same. So we're not talking about the kingdom of Morocco, because here was the empire of Al-Morocco. Or America.
Mm-hmm.
John E. Forbes, in his book Africans and Native Americans, he states on page 69, in 1524, the people of the Carolinas coast were said to be as dark-colored, not much unlike the Ethiopians. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In the Charlotte Observer, dated Sunday, August the 15th, 1993, it says the North Carolina in 1690 reported the presence of Moors and that they were the ancestors of a people erroneously called the Melungeons. That was right in North Carolina.
We all up in there.
Yeah. It sounds like to me. So, this is what is going on. All right. Someone in the chat said the Olmecs do not have a culture, but rather traditions and heritage. True, but really that makes a culture. Your traditions, your stories, your mores, your folkways, your heritage, which is your birthright, all of that solidifies a culture. Your language solidifies your culture. The people belief system, the belief system of the Olmecs solidified their culture. So I understand what you're saying, but, you know, they recognize a culture these days thereby ignoring the traditions and heritage. I understand. And you're right, but that's why we're trying to add all this information in so that they can get a full, holistic, well-balanced perspective of information and the reason why their nationality is important. Because many missed the point that we was here hundreds of thousands of years ago, millions of years ago. Instead, They linger on with just the slave narrative of 400 years ago that we came on ships, we was abused, Kunta Kinte lost his foot, His name was changed to Toby. That's what they want to hold on to because that's the root saga. All right? We're just simply saying that we was here prior to the root saga. Not saying that the root saga did not exist in some form or fashion, but we know that European and Albion is cruel. All right? And giving him power over anything becomes a goddamn disaster. We can see that.
Exactly.
We can see that throughout history. Okay. But it's not about me focusing on their disasters. It's about us focusing on us moving beyond the victimization. And not saying that we have not been treated wrongly and that we're going to have psychosis that we need to go and attend to, because we do. But we have to look at it from not just a historical perspective, but also from a cultural, traditional, and a heritage. Like what you're saying there, I am the universe. I understand exactly what you're saying. So we have to look at it from that perspective, you right, and put it into a holistic point of view. All right. So let's look at that a little bit more, because based on the information that I've discovered here lately, there's a lot. Whew. All right, but when you look at Indigenous, you're looking at the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, Article 13. It states Indigenous people have the right to revitalize, use, develop, and transmit to future generations their histories, languages, oral traditions, philosophies, writing systems, and literature, and to designate and retain their own name for communities, places, and persons. Right? Everything that we just talked about makes a culture. All right? Article 14, Indigenous people have the right to establish and control their educational systems and institutions, providing education for their own, in their own languages, in the manner appropriate to their cultural methods of teaching and learning. Indigenous individuals, particularly children, have the right to all levels and forms of education of the state without discrimination. If you so choose, state shall, in conjunction with the indigenous people, take effective measures in order for indigenous individuals, particularly children, including those living outside of the community, to have access when possible to an education in their own culture and provided in their own language. All right, so we was talking about Africans, in particular the tribe called the Mandinka or the Mandingo people, West African ethnic group, descendant of the Malian Empire that we just spoke about, the Malian Songhai Galanese Empire, right, which rose to power under the rule of the Mandinka king, Sandayata Kieta. All right. Now, the Mandinka people included the Mandinka, the Bambara, the Bozo, the Mende, the Susu, the Ve, all right, people, and the Sanika, the Saniki, all right, people. Now, the Mandinka language is a language that was spoken by the people of Mali, Senegal, Gambia, Guinea, the Irish Coast, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Chad, and several other places. All right. Now, what they don't tell you is that the Mandinka speakers was part of the ancient Ma, or fish confederation of the Dogon. And the Ma civilization consists of the ancient Egyptian, the Sumerian, and the Dravidian, which is the Kushitic people, which is Kush, old man Kush. In addition to the Mandis and the other Niger, Congo groups, it states that this Mandi strip has been found. This Mandi's writing has been found in Monte Albine, Mexico, and they named places from southern Mexico to South America with Mandinka names. All right, such names sometimes sound identical to the names and places in West Africa. All right, and that's just in South America on up into Mexico, but it even went further. When you find that the majority of the when they looked, Dr. Clyde Winters said that when he examined the Lenape language of the Nanocoats, which was Algonquin, he said that the majority of that script was, or the tongue was, Mandingo, Mendes. Now that makes sense because the word Lenape, meaning nappy-headed ones, all right, actually will be El Nup, which means the Nubians. And it was the priesthood. Okay? We found out that when Cristobal Colon or Christopher Columbus, in his diaries, it is said that when they came to Cuba, the king of Cuba spoke Arabic, Hebrew, and Chaldean, which is part of that Ma Confederation. Right? Now, you can also find this in the Africa and the Discovery of America by Leo Wiener. Leo Wiener speaks about this too. If you look at the Montic script of 200 BC, is housed in the British Museum. My wife and I have been there. We took pictures of it. This script was used as the base to decipher the Rosetta Stone, and it looks identical to Arabic. This is in Egypt, 200 BC. Okay? So, the hieroglyphics was written in demonic script, 200 BC, which looked reminiscent to Arabic, and then you have Arabic-speaking chiefs in Cuba, emperor in Cuba, meeting Cristobal Colon, 1493. Okay? So, you find out that many of the words spoken by the Micmac, the Lenape, which is the Nanocoats, or the Algonquin tribe, as many tribes of the Iroquois, they spoke a form of Hebrew and Arabic. All right? And this is told by, you get Dr. Barry Falls, Harvard University professor, it's called Saga America 1980. He says, solid evidence supports the arrival centuries before Columbus of Muslims from North and West Africa. Dr. Falls discovered the existence of the Muslim school at the Valley of Fire, Alen Springs, Kehoe Canyon, Washoe, and Hicksonne Summit Pass, which is in Nevada, as well as also in Colorado and New Mexico and Indiana, dating back to 700 to 800 CE. Carvings on the rocks in western United States has found text, diagrams, and charts presenting the last surviving fragments of what is once a system of schools at both an elementary and higher level. The language of instruction was North African Arabic, written with Old Kufic Arabic script, which is related to the demonic script of the ancient Egyptians, which was the hieroglyphics. The subject of instruction included writing, reading, arithmetic, religion, history, geographic, mathematics, astronomy, and sea navigation. The descendants of the Moorish, or the Muslim visitors of North America, are members of the present Iroquois, Algonquin, Azenazi, Olmec native. This is what was written. This is what he wrote. This, once again, is a European verifying the languages in which that was spoken right here. It says the ancient Kufic script was employed from the Arabic language before the moderate language of Arabic came into general use. This explains dates from approximately 700 AD and occurred in Nevada, where it was mistaken for Amerindian markings of about 1000 BC. 1000 BC.
Wow.
That was before Prophet Muhammad. That was before the Prophet Muhammad. The language of the Indians, aka Negroes, equals Algonquin and the Arabic are essential to the same language, which goes back to the Metu Neter. This is from a book called The Real Indians is the Negroes, aka the Black or Moors. Okay. Barry Falls go even further. He says that he proved from the written testimony of other priests that the Micmac was using the writing when the first missionaries arrived. In fact, all of the northern Algonquin, the family tribes to which the Micmacs belong, apparently used it, having acquired this language from the Libyan mariners and preserved it for over 1,000 years. As Fall begins to study the Algonquin language, he found hundreds of Egyptian words in the dialect of the northeastern Algonquin. Hundreds of words coming from the Egyptian. Hundreds of words coming from the Egyptian language or the hieroglyphics. All right. Goes further. Anthropologists have proven that the Mandinka under Mansa Musa instruction explored many parts of the North America via the Mississippi and other river systems, all four corners. Arizona writing showed that they even brought elephants from Africa to the area. All right. Before Mansa Musa was the Emperor Abu Bakr, who had 200 ships to sail over here to be with his brothers, the Olmecs. And then he himself came with another 1,000 ships, in which that Mansa Musa stated that he was never heard from again. In other words, they stayed. So that's 1,200 ships loaded down with people. Right? And that was around that same time period of 700 AD to 1100 AD. Some say even later to 1310 to 1311 is when that took place. But there was even earlier impacts during the 700s, as you just finished hearing, AD, and even further back than that, of so-called blacks, Moors, arriving in the Americas. Okay? So, we have to start understanding history. All right? We have to start understanding history. All right? Brother L, you want to say anything before we go to the questions?
Yes. I was dealing with nationality and birthright issues. I have this to say to all the Asiatic Masons of across the country, across the world as well. Prince Hall, International, Modern Masons, whatever they call themselves, that want to castigate the Moors of the Moorish Rite Masonic order. I want to say to them that you get initiated and do rituals under another man's name, so therefore, nor were you then made, nor are you now Freemasons. That's what I have to say to them. That always want to tell the Moors right what they don't have, a charter, because they don't need a charter. Their birthright is their charter.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to go to the phone line. We get area code 213. Area code 213, you're on the line. Greetings.
Hello?
Yes, greetings.
Hello?
Peace.
Yes, greetings. Can you hear us? Peace. You got your phone muted?
I hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, there you go.
Yes.
Yes, we got you loud and clear.
Okay. Yeah, my name's Ezel. I got an email from
brother,
you, actually.
How's it going? Right.
Hey,
Well, yeah, this is right now and into the second half. We're getting ready to get into your product. That was just the first half.
Cool.
We wanted to get that clarified for those who've been listening to our radio show, what's really going on. But we definitely want to get into your product, Brother Ezel. We know that you got You Can Love This, and
yes.
that is the powerful bomb that you got there. So tell everybody about the bomb and also some of the ingredients as well as also what it can do for you.
Okay, yeah, cool. It's You Can Love This. It's the ingredients are shea butter and coconut oil, and then the 31 herbs. So the herbs are I can give you like half of them: eucalyptus, yarrow, mullein, sage, gotu kola, ginkgo biloba. There's dulse in there, lemongrass. There's valerian root, St. John's wort. Let me see. There's the ginkgo, gotu kola. Said those. Let me see. We got oregano, thyme, white willow tree bark. I'm trying to just get to half of. I can't tell you all the ingredients, man. It's a secret formula right there.
Right.
that's about half of them.
Right.
It's
all right. That's all right. It's all right. They'll get the gist of it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
why you pick? Tell them why you pick particular herbs.
Well, these herbs, man, they just came to me. I mean, I've been studying herbs for maybe 15, 20 years off and on. And I used to always make stuff for my hair, make stuff for my girlfriends. They always like pretty smelly stuff. So I make hair stuff for them, lotions, creams and stuff. With this one specifically, I had a knee injury, a really bad knee injury. And I'd injured it a few times and they told me I was going to need surgery. And I didn't want to get cut open. I didn't want to do surgery, man. So I did acupuncture instead, which helped a little bit. But after that, I had a construction job where I was working like 10 hours a day, so my knee got really bad. And it was just really bad. And one night I just went home and I said, I'm just going to make something to heal myself. One thing I wanted to say first, I kind of got surprised. I wanted to say thank you to you, man, and everybody else on Blog Talk, man. I've learned so much from you guys just in terms of looking for alternative ways to deal with the situation and find solutions that might not be the modern Western way. I mean, I've been listening to you. I've been listening to, a lot of people, man, Bobby Hemmett, Delbert Blair, Miss Blue, just a lot of teachers, Ivan Van Sertima, Dr. Ben, and just being able to have that resource, man. I just want to say thank you to you and to everybody else out there that's bringing that knowledge, because that's definitely what opened my mind up to be able to do what I did. I just meditated, man, and a couple hours into it, I was just at home, sealed up the house, and it's like the sky just opened up, man, and all these herbs started just coming out of the sky, and I wrote them all down. I would write one herb down, and then another one would come to my mind. I would write it down. And another one came, and I thought to myself, while this was all happening, I thought to myself, okay, these are herbs that I'm familiar with. And as soon as I thought that, some more herbs came through that I wasn't even familiar with, like the yarrow. I had never heard of that or used it before. The dulse, that one, horsetail. So it came out to a list of 31 herbs, and it came to me in the meditation. I just wrote them down, and this morning went out and bought all the herbs and simmered them down in the coconut oil. You know, I use the coconut oil because that's the best receptor because of the form of the fat that's in coconut oil. It's the best receptor to allow the herbs to get deeper into your system and penetrate your skin deeper. So I used that and some shea butter, and I put it together, and it just it took the swelling away. Like in 3 days, maybe a week, the swelling was almost gone, but my knee was still popping and stuff because of the cartilage and scar tissue. But I started sharing it with people, and, you know, I had one person that had acne on his back for most of his life. It got rid of his acne in like 3 days. I had a friend of mine that's a cancer survivor. She was using it for her cancer pain. I have a friend that was in a car accident. She was able to use that and stop taking the pain pills that she had been taking for years. And that's when I knew I had something good. I mean, I knew I had something good because of the way it came to me. But when I started giving it to people, and they're coming back to me with all these different things, people with, you know, broken ankles, swollen wrists, carpal tunnel syndrome, sore backs, bad feet. My friend's father has diabetes, so he has bad circulation, so he was able to use it on his feet, and it helped bring back all the skin that he had, the damage to his skin because he had bad circulation. So it was a straight product of meditation. I mean, I've been studying herbs, but the entire list came to me like in a 2-minute time span. It just kind of came, and I just wrote it down.
You know, right? So you want to share with the audience how you was able to channel that information? What meditation was you doing at that time? Was there anything in particular?
Well, I can't really say it's a particular meditation, man. I do like Om chants sometimes, and I do different chants, and that's what I started with. So I was doing like the Om chants, and then the different vowel chants. I use those to center on different parts of my body. So I'll do like the lower vowels, like the ooh, ooh, you know, doing that and trying to open up those centers in the Om. And then when I got to the Ra, you know, I felt it in my chest. It's just like everything just opened up, and I kind of just kept an idea in my mind, just kept saying to myself, I can heal myself. You know, the answers are out there. I can heal myself. So I just went into the deep breathing part of it, and I had taken a trip to Santa Barbara, and I had picked some eucalyptus leaves up, credible, just thick, real sticky leaves and stuff. So I picked them. And I was in the room, and I could smell it. So I was smelling the eucalyptus. I'm doing my chant. I'm feeling the eucalyptus. You know, it's all sticky on my fingers and stuff. And I'm like, man, I know eucalyptus is good for healing your body and for detox and for clearing your body of toxins and stuff. So I just started with that. I was like, okay, if I make something, I got to use this eucalyptus because it's really good. And I picked up the pen, and I wrote down eucalyptus, man, and it was like, you know, like I said in the letter, man, it was like I could see the sky, like my ceiling disappeared, and I could just see the sky, and just all these herbs came down. But one thing I wanted to add, too, is that it wasn't just the names of herbs. It was also like a shape that I saw. You know, it's like a geometrical shape. Like if you could imagine a shape having 24 sides, like each herb was a different side of the shape, and it was almost like it was a healing crystal or something. You know, like the whole experience. It was visual to it. So I wrote down everything, and that's how it came to me. And when I made it and just started sharing it, everybody was like, man, this is magic. This is, you know, it's something else. Like the first person I shared it with, he had a cold, and he put it on his chest and put it on his back, and he started like sniffling. He started sneezing and coughing and stuff, and like coughed up all this phlegm. And then after that, he was like, man, my whole sinuses are open. And he's the one that had acne on his back. And it's funny because he was using it for his cold. He called me and told me, man, I put that stuff all over my back the next day, man. I feel great. And then he called me the next, and he was like, man, not only did it get rid of my cold, but it got rid of all the acne on my back.
All right.
So it was just one of those things, man. I started sharing it with people, and everybody came back to me like, man, this stuff is amazing, man. You got to sell this. So you need to sell it. You need to sell it. So that's how it started, man. I just giving it away and sharing it with people, and then I started selling it.
Right. Well, give them your website. Give them how to contact you, how to reach you. Because you're doing some miraculous things, and I know everybody who's listening would definitely love to support you.
Yeah, for sure, brother. The link is the product name is You Can Love This. It's EU, C like cat, A, L like Larry, O, V like Victor, T like Tom, H like Harry, I, S like Sam. And basically all of my links are under that name. So I have my email is youcanlovethis@gmail.com. I have my Twitter, my Instagram, and my Facebook are all at You Can Love This. And all of my information is there. There's some pictures up right now of some before and after of some scar healing. That was a scar that was healed. There's a video there. And you can go on YouTube, same name, You Can Love This, on YouTube, and you can see my YouTube video. I'm working on getting the regular website together right now, but for now I've been working through the Instagram and Facebook mostly. So I wanted to say anybody that's on the air, anybody that's one of your listeners, if they hit me up on Facebook, follow my Facebook or my Instagram, if they make an order, if they just mention your name, I'll give them a 2-for-1, buy one, get one free. And then that way, I can bless the listeners with a little extra.
No, that's deep. All right, y'all heard that. Brother is getting ready to help y'all out for real.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing, man, is that I've been dealing with a lot of older folks, man, a lot of elders in the neighborhood, in the community and stuff, and they can't they can't always afford it, man. So I know how people are. Some people have expressed issue with the price. It's $14 per jar. But then once they use it, they're like, man, I need another one. So I know that the elders aren't necessarily listening to it, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying that I've used it over the last week, and I can tell you it's good. It's excellent. It's an excellent product. I appreciate you definitely putting it together. The ancestors bless you with those 31 herbs. To put it into a formula base, and so I think everybody needs to support. $14 is not a lot for the jar, in which they're giving you that jar lasts over a month, so I recommend everybody definitely get that.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I'm glad you're using it. I'm glad it's helping you. And that's the thing I wanted to say is that for anybody listening, if you're going to buy a jar, the real reason that I'm doing the buy one, get one free for the listeners is that I want them to hook up one of their older people. I have a sister that had a stroke. She's been using my balm, and she actually, last time I saw her, she tried to get up out of her wheelchair just to show me how good she was feeling. I was like, no, girl, sit down. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because she's been in physical therapy, and the activity of the balm, once it gets into your system, it helps reactivate your nervous system because it's got the valerian root, the St. John's wort, the ginkgo biloba, and the gotu kola. Those all add oxygen to your blood system, but they also push oxygen to your brain and through your medulla oblongata, your brain stem. So that activates your nervous system. And after you use it for a while, I got a brother that's using it right now. He almost cut his he had a really bad accident, I'll just put it like that, with one of his fingers. And he called me up the other day saying that he's starting to regain the nervous feeling in his fingers. So that's the thing. It's one of those things over time. And the doctors told me that there's no way to heal scar tissue. They told me that the cartilage damage is irreversible without surgery. And I just want to tell everybody listening that that's not true. I literally, over the span of 6 months using it every day, I literally felt my knee rebuilding itself. I walked for, just to test myself, I walked for 6 miles last week just because. I mean, didn't really have anywhere to go, but I just wanted to see, okay, am I really healed up? You know, so I walked for 6 miles, man. I got home, no problem. And I haven't been able to do anything like that in like 10 years since I first injured my knee. You know, anytime I could walk 6 blocks and my knee would be on fire, just popping and, you know what I mean, making noise. So it's one of those things that over time your body has the ability to heal itself. If you give your body the right nutrients, the right plants and everything, your body can heal itself. The doctors, they just want to cut on you and get that money.
Right.
But I'm living proof, man. They told me all kinds of stuff, and the stuff they were saying was starting to happen. You know, my knee was so bad I couldn't walk upstairs barely. You know, I could only bend my knee halfway. But you know, like I said, I walked 6 miles last week, got home not tired, knee wasn't sore, wasn't swelled up at all. Went to sleep, woke up, knee felt like I hadn't even done anything. So my knee is completely healed, 100%. You know, you can look on Instagram. I got a picture of me doing some yoga, you know, and it's like I'm doing like the full thing, you know what I mean? It's like I couldn't do that for years, man. I feel like, you know, I know it's a cliche, but I feel like I'm young again, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things I was just blessed with, man. It was pure prayer and meditation, man. I was just praying all day, meditating. You know, I was mad, I was upset. I was like, man, these doctors were right. But then I had to change my mindset. You know what I mean? And that's something that I hear y'all talk about all the time. You know, that the power of consciousness, man, it ain't no joke. You know what I mean? If you make your mind up and tell yourself you're going to do something and you believe it in your heart and don't listen to what a doctor says or what anybody says, I mean, I'm living proof, man, because there's no other reason that should have happened except for I focused on it. I stayed at home all day. I was praying. I was just meditating. And I picked up that eucalyptus, and that kind of activated it. And as soon as I wrote down one word, just all this stuff just came flooding in, and it was a trip. It was like I'm looking at the sky, and I felt like I could see daytime and nighttime at the same time. It was a trip. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to roll with this. And the names just started coming down, and I just wrote them down. And then even it was so deep to where when the last name I wrote down, it was like, okay, that's it. And then everything went back to normal. And I'm just sitting in my room, and I'm like, man, what the hell just happened? I look at the list, and I'm like, man, I just wrote a list of herbs down. I was like, man, this is it. You know, I didn't question it. I didn't, you know what I mean? I just went with it. Got up the next morning and went and bought everything, and that's how it came to me, man. So that's the whole story right there.
Okay. Callers who want to ask Brother Ezel some questions about You Can Love This, his new product that's the bomb. All right.
Thanks,
no
brother.
pun intended.
That's right.
626-414-3535. That's 626-414-3535. And he said, if you mention us, First Water Radio, Dr. Alim Bey, you get 2 for 1. So you know you got to jump on that. So once again, 626-414-3535. All right, we ready for the callers. Come on, hit us up. Let's get this line popping.
Yeah.
All right.
That's right.
All right, we got area code 253. Area code 253. You on the line?
Oh yeah, I was trying to find out how do you spell that again? You can love this.
Yeah, you can love this. It's EUC like cat, ALOVTHIS.
Oh, okay. Is it L-O? Like this?
Yeah. Here, I'll spell the whole thing slow again, brother. It's EUC like cat, A, L like Larry, O, V like Victor, T like Tom, H like Harry, I, S like Sam.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can find me Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or you can send me an email if you like. They're all the same under You Can Love This.
You can love this. I think I got it. Oh, can you spell it one more time?
Yeah, no problem, man. It's EUC like cat, AL like Larry, OV like Victor, T like Tom, H like Harry, IS like Sam.
Okay, I got it now.
Mhm.
I think I got that same problem with my knee, so I have to go check that out.
Oh yeah. Check me out, brother. I mean, I have a couple of customers that have already had surgery. You know, they're using it to decrease the swelling from the surgery. I have a doctor friend of mine. He had surgery on his ankle. He's using it for his ankle. It's really, really good for, you know, sprains, you know, broken bones, hyperextensions. Because the main activity, what it does first is when you put it on, it cools your body down. And that's going to attack the inflammation issue. The inflammation, a lot of times, that brings excess heat to the area. So when you use it, you'll feel it cool down, and then 5 minutes later, you'll start feeling it warm up because your circulation is going to improve. There's herbs in there that add oxygen. They help with your red blood cell count. There's white willow tree bark is one of the ingredients, and white willow tree bark is actually the source for aspirin. So that's like the source for pain killing. You know, there's clove in there, so that helps with the pain as well. And then the herbs like the
you also said valerian root. I know you also said valerian root. So so that's good for pain also, because volume is made from valerian root. Yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. See, that's let me touch on that too, man. There's a lot of drugs out there. The sources can be found in nature. You know, there's a lot of stuff, like you said, the valerian, the St. John's wort, that's the source for a lot of antidepressant medication. Same thing with valerian root. You know, these are things that work with your nervous system. And then another herb in there that's really good is marshmallow root. That one is what's called an adaptogen. Marshmallow root, they've done studies on this root, right? That root, once it gets inside of your body, they call it an intelligent plant. They've done studies where a person will have a cut, like on their foot, and they'll take the marshmallow root and they'll make an incision in the shoulder, and they'll put it in the shoulder, and then they'll take a culture of the foot an hour later, and the marshmallow root will be in the foot, but it won't be anywhere else in the body. It'll go straight to where the wound is. And not only will it go straight to the wound, it will actually show the other herbs where to go. And because the marshmallow root is called a mucilage, which is like kind of like a natural form of mucus, like a sticky substance. Once it gets to your body, it actually will take the herbs and hold the herbs onto the scar like glue. And that's the marshmallow root. That's when it's an adaptogen and a mucilage, and that's one that that's the source for a lot of these cough medicines and cough remedies is marshmallow root. So the plants, the plants are intelligent. You know, as intelligent as we think we are, the plants, once they get inside your body, they know what to do. They know where to go. There's some herbs in there that help with your blood sugar and inulin levels. You know, it attacks the idea of healing. You know, there's 31 herbs, so imagine you have 31 soldiers in there fighting with your body to help your body heal itself. You know, and I used it on I have a spider bite. I got bit by a black widow like 5 years ago, and I had a big black mark on my leg. I don't know if y'all have ever been bit by a poisonous spider, but it'll leave a mark, and then it's what do they call that? The necrosis of the tissue. Like it never heals. But I put this on my spider bite, man, and it's healing a bite that's like 5 years old, and it's almost gone. It had been black and like pussy, and you could scratch it and it would bleed and stuff. And it's been healing that. And I mean, I think I be using it on my face every day. I think it's improved my eyesight because my eyesight, I'm 42, so they say after 40 years old everything goes downhill or whatever. But my eyesight is back to normal now. I can see perfect at nighttime. It was getting kind of blurry at night. So I just, I have this product, and then I take that same formula and I make a tea with it, and I've been giving that to some of the elders in the neighborhood, and they've been using that to help regulate their blood pressure and diabetic issues because it helps to regulate your blood sugar levels, your blood glucose, and there's some herbs in there that help your body to produce inulin, which is that's what diabetics are missing out. That's why they have to take insulin. But the inulin is the natural form, the natural plant form.
Okay, you answered that question. I can't even answer.
What's that say? Say it again, bro.
You answered the question like as I was thinking it pretty much already. So.
Oh, okay.
I was about
Excellent.
to ask, can you take it internally? You just answered it. So.
Excellent. Yeah, the balm, you can take that internally as well, and I actually suggest that to people. Whatever you're going to use it for, put it on your skin, but also, just put a little on your finger and put it in your mouth and swish it around in your mouth because your body, your body is a great receptor. So anything that you're going to use to heal on the outside, if it's a natural product, you take it interiorly also, and you're going to be fighting the issue from the inside and the outside. And me personally, I'll take a spoonful of it and make a smoothie with it sometimes, and it gives me this mad energy. When I work out, I started training again, and it's like I said, it's one of those things, man. I'm still amazed by it, and I use it every day.
Okay.
All right, thank you,
that's
brother,
like broken
for coming
bone.
on asking that question.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a couple of people that are healing from broken bones. They're using it right now. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thanks.
Hey, thanks for the questions.
Hey,
thanks for your
brother.
time, man.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're area code 818. Area code 818, you on the line.
Hi.
Peace.
Greetings.
Yeah,
Peace.
I'm calling in because I use Yuga Love This. I got issues with my knees, and so after I work out, I take it and rub it on my knees all over, and it definitely does help with the pain and seeming inflammation too. It seems to bring that down.
Excellent.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much, caller.
All right.
Yeah. All right, thank you. All right, we get area code 336. Area code 336, you on the line.
Hey, how y'all doing? Peace to everybody.
Peace.
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 I was just trying to get the name again. There's a lot of feedback going on.
Okay, yeah, the name is You Can Love This. It's E-U-C. Here, let me, it might be coming from my computer. Give me 1 second, and I'll turn the feed off on my computer. Give me 1 second, please. Okay. Maybe that'll help. I turned the feed off on my computer. Yeah, the name is it's You Can Love This, and I'll spell it slow. It's E-U-C like cat, A-L like Larry, O-V like Victor, T like Tom, H like Harry, I-S like Sam. You Can Love This. And the Twitter, Instagram are all under that name, as well as YouTube, and then my Gmail. You can love this at gmail.com.
Okay, I appreciate that because my son, he's 3 years old, and he has sickle cell. That's right.
So You looking for something more internally or for external?
Both internal and external.
Okay, excellent. And you said the person with sickle cell, how old are they?
He's 2 years old, about to be 3.
Oh, it's a baby. Okay. Yeah, if you get some, what I would say for you, brother, is when you get it, take it and dilute it, you know?
Okay.
Take it and if you're going to give it to them internally, get some good organic coconut oil. And let's say you get a 1 ounce jar. I would say take that and melt that together with an ounce of coconut oil, and then just give them a small spoonful of it to start, you know, and see how it treats them. But if you're gonna give it to a baby, I would say dilute it. I have a couple of people. There's one sister I know of that gives it to her baby. He's 4 years old, and he loves it. He eats it up. So, you know, I take it internally every day myself. You know, sometimes I'll take like a half of the ounce jar and throw it in a smoothie, and I'll drink that, and that'll be my nutrition for the whole day. You know what I mean? So I would say just start slow, take it and break it down into 2. You know what I mean? So that'll dilute it, and then just let him dip his finger on. You know what I'm saying? And just suck on his finger. You know how babies do. And then as he gets it into his system and you can see how it reacts with him, then you'll know how much to give him. You know what I'm saying? But since it's such a young baby, I would say dilute it first.
Okay. I appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you.
Powerful. It looks like we might have some other questions on the line. Let me see. 253. You have a comment or a question? Area code 253. Okay. 818. Area code 818. You have a comment or a question? All right. God, also, too, how can people get in contact with you so they can get this Yucca Love?
Okay, everything is on my social media, so it's you can love this at Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and I'll spell it again. It's EUC like cat, AL like Larry, OV like Victor, T like Tom, H like Harry, S like Sam. And you can hit me at youcalovetthis@gmail.com. Or like I was saying before, anybody that hits me on the Facebook or the Instagram, just go ahead and if you follow me and then you mention the radio show at your purchase, then I'll send you 2 for 1. And that's just I'm going to just leave it at that for the radio listeners because I do, I want to get a good promotion out there. And again, I want to say that I want people to share the balm with some of the older folks because that's something that it really it's just something that I see a lot in our community. We got a lot of older folks that have joint issues, joint problems, strokes, people in a wheelchair. And, that's really who I've been really, really keeping in touch with my older folks because, we need it because we don't really have any other resource besides a doctor that just wants to do some surgery. Right. You know what I mean? And, I got a couple people calling me, telling me how much their grandmother feels better and stuff. And that's really why I want to do the 2 for 1 right now, because I know that's something we need in our community, So for anybody, any of the listeners, buy one, get one free, and give the free one to your auntie or to your grandma or grandpa or whoever it is, you know what I mean? And then that way everybody, it's a win-win situation. You get something good, I make a little money, and we can help as many people as possible,
You're right, indeed. We got area code 301. Area code 301. You're on the line.
Hello, this is Jarvis. How y'all doing? Can you hear me?
Fine, brother.
Hey, what's happening now? Peace.
Loud and clear.
First of all, I'd like to say I've been waiting to talk to Dr. Alim Bey. But I wanted to ask about, I know I have a cousin that got, her father had Agent Orange. And her whole body, ain't nothing the doctors can do for her. She always in pain. And they're giving her those, I forget the name of them pills that everybody be selling, you know, pain. They real famous pills. She taking them and she's trying to get off of them, but they want to increase her and not get off of them.
Yeah.
And everything. And I'm wondering, and she broke her pelvis having children and everything, and like she's just in constant pain. It hurts for her to sit down. Her husband got to stay home from work, and she's in pain. You know, and it sounds like that this could rebuild her or whatever. You know, and I would like to know what size is the jar.
Right now we just have the 1 ounce jar. Yeah, right now I just have the 1 ounce jar. But what was your name again, folks? Jarvis?
My name is Jarvis Brooks.
Jarvis Brooks. Okay, yeah, go ahead and email me, man. For that situation, I can make something a little bit larger for her, you know? Yeah, just go ahead and email me and then just say the same thing in the email that you told me right here about the sister with the pelvis and the pain issues and the Agent Orange and stuff. And I'll work with you, man. I'm willing to work with people if they got extreme problems. I think for her, she could use the balm, but I would also like to make some tea for her. I could make a mixture of those same 31 herbs, and she could boil it down for a tea. And she could take that internally at the same time that she uses the balm. But any skin issues has like the rashes and stuff, it'll definitely help clear those up.
Okay. I'm not sure other than the pain, because I haven't seen her in a while, and she got my number, you know, Facebook and everything. But to go along with that, my wife, she was using skincare products, had clear skin, and now she got little dark spots from the acne that she was getting, and when it go away, it leave a dark spot on her and everything. She was bit by a spider, and she had thyroid operated on, so she got a nice little, you know, 3 or 4 inch cut right at the where her collarbone is, where they had to go in and do the. So I got 2 situations going on there. I appreciate you working with me for my cousin, but, you know, the 1 ounce, I guess that'll be, you know, for me and my wife, because I'm 40 and she'll be 40. And, you know, that I twisted my ankle real bad back in 2000 because I used to play basketball, and it ain't really been right since then. It cracks a lot and everything, and, man, I'm ready to get this thing going.
Man, that's just how my knee was, brother. I'm going to tell you, man, for the joints, the ankles and knees, man, this stuff, I mean, I got to be honest, man, the first time I injured my knee, I think I was like 19 years old. You know, it was a while ago, but I really, I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but I almost feel like I'm 19 again, man, because my knee, both of my knees, you know, I mean, I'm 42, but because I've been using it every day, it's like it's completely rebuilt, man. I mean, I walked 6 miles straight last week and got home with no pain, no swelling. I walked up my stairs, my knees didn't pop. I got in the bed, took a shower, woke up in the morning, felt great. And I was like, man, I haven't been able to do that since I was like 19. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. I used to be a trash man and all that,
Yeah, so you know what it is. I mean, I was working construction, bro. I was doing 10-hour days in 110-degree weather, 6 days a week. So that literally just tore my knee up every day. It had gotten so bad. The night before I made this stuff, I was hanging out with my friends, and we were downstairs playing pool, and I had to, like, you know, like kind of like sneak out. You know what I mean? They're all leaving, and I'm like, all right, y'all go ahead, because I had to walk up the steps like an old man. I had to take one step at a time, lift my other leg, hobble to the next step, lift my other leg, man. I almost started crying by the time I was at the top of the steps. I was like, man, I'm turning into an old man. I'm going to need a cane. That's what the doctors told me. You're going to have to walk with the cane if you don't get surgery. You're going to be on crutches. And I was feeling it, man. I got to the top of them steps. But, you know, again, I'm going to say it, thanks to Brother Alim and all the other teachers that are on Blog Talk, man, I made the decision in my own head that I can heal myself. That was the difference. You know, I had all this noise in my head from what the doctors told me, but, you know, I was just going on that power of consciousness, man. I can heal myself. You know, I've heard enough stories about people healing themselves. You know, I've studied stuff from Dr. Sebi. You know what I mean? I've read, you know, Lila Africa's books, Queen Afua, Heal Thyself. You know what I'm saying? And it's really the knowledge and teachings of folks like Brother Bay and all the brothers and sisters out there that keep letting us know that we have the power of consciousness. We can do what we need to do for ourselves and for each other without even having to worry about anybody else's thought patterns or any programs or any of that, man. We can do it ourselves. That's what really inspired me when I got home. I was like, I'm going to do it myself. Right. And that's how it came to me, man. So, yeah, go ahead and email me, but, you know, check my Instagram and my Facebook. It's got all the information. It's got, you know, the pictures on there. There's a copy of the letter explaining how I came up with the formula and stuff, and all my PayPal links are on there. So when you're ready to make a purchase, you just click on one of the links, and that's it, brother. And we could take it from there, but definitely email me at youcoullovetthis@gmail.com, and then I can make a special order for, you said it was your cousin?
Yes, yes.
Okay, yeah, because what I'll do is I'll make something for her, and I'll put like some extra white willow tree bark in there and the valerian root and the St. John's wort. I'll make something that has extra stuff for the central nervous system, and then that way it'll help topically, but it'll get into her nervous system and help with that pain. That white willow tree bark, that's where aspirin comes from, man. So I made one for a friend of mine, and it was kind of a trip. I made it so strong once, like I was rubbing it into my hands, and then I couldn't feel my fingers no more. I was like, man, this is strong, man. White willow tree bark is strong. And the crazy thing is that there's white willow trees growing everywhere. You could literally go and peel the bark off that tree and boil it down and make some tea to get rid of your pain.
You mean pussy willow?
It's called white willow tree.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm from Maryland. Are you talking about the got the little cotton, like little fuzzy thing, little, like we call it pussy willow tree up here?
No, there's different ones. The white, sometimes they call it the weeping willow because the branches grow and then they kind of bend over where the leaves come out.
Yeah, I ain't know that good that stuff, but I take your word
it's
for
all
it,
good.
though, you know.
Yeah. That's, you know, everything. All these drugs, they came from plants first, you know.
Yeah,
so I just.
I seen something on YouTube deal with the Moors that how they got the people who go study the herbs and then they come back and make synthetics and stuff like that, and they got people messed all up.
Yeah, what they do is they'll find, like, for example, the white willow tree. The aspirin is made from something that's called salicylic acid. Okay, that's a component. Yeah, that's a component of the white willow tree. But what they do is they'll find the source and then they'll synthesize it. See, but that's not how nature works. Nature made the tree for a reason. You know what I mean?
Right. Yes,
it made that tree for a reason, so your body needs these other things. So that's why the drugs have side effects, because they're taking one piece of the plant and then they're hyping it up, adding other stuff to it chemically, and then you take it in your body and it might work for what you want it to work for, but it's going to do a bunch of negative stuff too. See, plants don't do that, you know?
Yeah.
Plants just help you, and then, you know, they put a smile on your face. So, yeah, definitely email me, and, you know, we'll talk. And I can make something specific for your cousin. You give me her information, and I'll do a meditation for her, and I'll make something specific for her.
Okay. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thank you, man. Have a good one.
Right, Brother L, you got anything you want to say about?
Yes. I'd like to get some of that balm for my sister. She has lung cancer, and she has some pain as well. So we'll be getting your product.
Yeah,
yes,
and
we'll be getting your product.
email me. Yeah, when you send me an email, describe the situation for your sister, because I can make stuff specific for people. You know what I mean?
I will pass that information to her.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, Brother Ezel, I'm glad that you came on.
Man, thanks for having me. Say that again, please.
Is there anything else that you want to break down, or before we end the show?
Yeah, man. I just want to say thank you again, and I appreciate y'all putting me out there like that. I just wanted to say also, it's just interesting the way things work, because I've been trying to sell my product like a regular product last year, and I woke up one day and it was like, man, you haven't been telling the whole story. I didn't want people to think I was crazy. You know what I mean? Like when you get something like that, I'm showing it to people and stuff. They're like, man, you tripping. But then I wrote that letter, and everything changed. Like people, when you're dealing with powerful stuff, when you're dealing with spiritual stuff, it's like you got to tell the true story. You got to be true to the creative forces that you're dealing with. So I just, I want to say thank you to y'all, and thanks for the lessons, and just helping me to stay open and know that that the power of consciousness is everything, brother. It's all we got, man. And when we focus on it, we can do great things, man.
No doubt. And that's the truth of the matter.
Yeah,
so
it really
we definitely
is,
appreciate you, Brother Ezel, coming on, giving us that needed information on these herbs and this bomb that you have, because it is the bomb, and
that's
like
right.
I said earlier, no pun intended, but it's something that they definitely need to check out, because like I said, for the last week I've been using it, and I mean, you enjoy the smell of it, you enjoy the feel of it, you can feel the rejuvenation properties, going into your skin and doing things together. So it's real nice. It's real nice product. So,
thanks,
I definitely did talk to you about doing consignment, because we have a store, and also we would like to probably put your product on our webpage. So
that's beautiful, brother.
Definitely give me a call back. Right, give me a call back, and we can, hash out the logistics and get everything going in that way. And
okay. What number should I call? The same number?
910-364-9099, and of course, for those who don't have our website, www.dralimmelbey.com. That's DRALIMELBEY, DrAlimmelbey.com. Check us out there. And
can you give me the number again, please, man?
910-364-9099. That's 910-364-9099.
910-364-9099. Okay, got it.
Right.
Yeah, I would love to do that, brother. Yeah, we can definitely do that, man.
All right, sounds good. So it sounds like Dr. Alim and Brother Ezel is getting ready to hit y'all with that eucalyptus bomb for
man.
real. So
that's what's up.
Please continue listening to First Water Radio as we bring you some of the most electrifying, enlightening information on the planet. All right?
Yeah, that's right.
Brother L, you got anything to say before we go?
Yes. I wanted to say one more thing I left out. I said it about the Asiatic Masons. Also, I would like to say this, that if you want to still be real Freemasons, you have to get your birthright and nationality intact, and get your names corrected, where you can come back to the fold of the ancient ones, your ancient foremothers and forefathers, as they were.
Right, and the reason why, because unless you become a Freemason, then otherwise you're a slave Mason. So
exactly,
that's what Brother Elder is essentially saying, and he can speak on it because he is a Prince Horn Mason and has been such for years, and he's a Master Mason, so he can talk and spill the beans on y'all about that, how to get yourself from out of Negro status and back into the family of nations. All right. Thank you once again, Brother Ezel, for coming on. You know, may the answer
thanks for having me.
You and open up the doorway for you, so you can get more of that excellent product out to the people. We appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
We love you.
Yes, sir.
We love our First World Order
love you much.
Radio listeners.
Thank you.
And we out, y'all.
First World Order Radio, finally.
All right.
We are on the air. No doubt. All right.
There's always going to be somebody in the building on First World Order Radio.
We going into some of that order consciousness tonight.
First World Order Radio every Wednesday, 8 p.m.
We got to talk about what is taking place on the planet.
There's always going to be somebody in the building on First World Order Radio. First, we need to let you know we're going to be doing more shows, giving out more information on Wednesdays. Wednesday at 8 o'clock, we are now going to make this the hottest day of the week.
Proceeding levels in time, order, and importance. The most prominent parts, voices, or instruments. Earth's state of human concerns in existence, an indefinite multitude, quantity, or distance. System regulates to bring about specifics in the movement on value with natural characteristics. Current radiates electromagnetistics of sound through the earth, aim at your thoughts, transmits it. Proceeding levels in time, order, importance. The most prominent parts, voices, or instruments. Earth's state of human concerns in existence, an indefinite multitude, quantity, or distance. System regulates to bring about specifics in the movement on value with natural characteristics. Current radiates electromagnetistics of sound through the earth, aim at your thoughts, transmits it.
You need to understand how magical this, something like this every Wednesday can become. So you need to start getting your calendar right, get your schedule right. You need to know our intentions straight out.
All right, so these clues are given throughout the various languages was to piece the puzzle of this ancient mystery school back together again.
And what we plan on doing, both of us, bringing y'all some surefire dynamite. We're going to take this level up a notch. We're going to have stuff to do here. This is not just going to be about philosophies and theories, shit that works.
You have activated pineal gland which that produced this black chemical called melanin.
What we did was gave a hard line in the sand between the different definitions of esoteric study and exoteric study. Playtime is over.